Hey, it's Mo. Sunshine! I can't believe it. This is fantastic. It's been snowing here for a couple days. It's absolutely freezing out. It's below zero, but we've got sunshine and I'm going to take it and I'm going to film thanks to it. I'm really glad you're here as always. Today I wanted to talk about a set that I have heard very little about. It is from Tarte and it is their Cue the Confetti set. I got this at Ulta and it was very interesting because it comes with, as you can probably see, a palette with 5 colors, an eyeshadow palette, a blush, and then a Tarte's Lights Camera Lashes. And if you bought the palette and the blush together, it was actually $4 more than buying the set that included the mascara. So I bought the set. What's Cue the Confetti? What does that have to do with Tarte is celebrating 20 years? This is according to their stuff. Party like a tartlet and celebrate our 20th birthday with these limited edition favorites in flawless and fabulous formulas. These colors are right up my street. You know, I like the mauvey, pinky, neutrally tones, and I thought the packaging was interesting. And I looked, at the time when I ordered it, I looked on YouTube and I couldn't find a review, so I bought it so I could review it for you. And I was interested in it anyway. So it comes packaged like this, just in a box, and inside it's wrapped in tissue paper, so there's no like crazy packaging. That's just how it comes. And then there's the Lights Camera Lashes, which is a permanent formula, but this is probably, you can tell this is limited edition packaging. The blush, so this is one of their Amazonian Clay 12-hour blushes, of which I am a fan, and the name is B-Day Bay. Can you see that okay? B-Day Bay, and this, as it said, was limited edition. The front of it has glitter, but I wanted to point out it's totally smooth. It's not totally smooth, I shouldn't say that. Like I can sort of feel some texture, but it's not that kind of glitter that you can feel or that rubs off. It's like it has a clear coat over it or something. So, so I'm totally fine with the packaging. I hate it when it's that rough glitter that you can actually pick off. This is very nice. And it's kind of a rose gold, by the way. And here's just a look at the B-Day Bay shade, which I think is quite nice. It's a, you know, is it earth-shattering? No, it's kind of a peachy pink, a little bit warm, but I thought it was quite pretty, and there's a mirror in the compact as well. So that is the blush. And then the eyeshadow palette, also wrapped in this paper, looks like this. So generally speaking, I really like the packaging. I think they did a really pretty job. Like I said, it's nothing outrageous. It's just kind of pretty. It's kind of different. And I like that it's a smaller palette. I'm sure you've noticed that smaller palettes are kind of trending, at least this year. I think as people realize that they have so many colors and palettes in their collection, they're like, maybe I want something a little simpler, a little smaller. So that's my theory anyway. So there's the palette. And I'm going to try everything on for you today. Of course, I will swatch it for you also, but I wanted to show you kind of the packaging, and I should roll up my sleeve because we're gonna do swatches, as I said. Not a first impression. I've used these several times. All of the pieces I've used several times. So I'll give you my thoughts and all that jazz. And the whole set was $45, by the way. So I'm coming to you with skincare on. That's probably obvious. And then I did put on the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Acid Tinted Moisturizer, and I put a little bit of the Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Acid Creamy Concealer around my nose, just a touch under my eyes. And I realized I forgot to put on eyeshadow primer, so I'm going to do that now. This is just the Milani. Can you hear my garage door? That means my husband is home with coffee. I'm not going to argue. This isn't a sound stage. This is real life. So I now have my coffee. Thumbs up on that. You know what? I drink decaf. Everybody thinks that's weird that I like coffee, but I drink decaf. But I like the flavor. And caffeine hurts my stomach. So there you go. Anyway, why are you really here? Probably for swatches. That's why I'm usually looking for reviews of stuff. So let's look at the eye palette first. We'll do the names here. Candle, Sprinkles, Present, and Celebrate. You can't see that at all. There's the pink. And as is often typical, those light shades don't show up very well on my skin tone because they kind of match my skin tone. I'm going to add to this one. I don't think you're going to be able to see this on me. Just barely. Then I'm going to add to this one so you can see the colors a little bit better. So those are pretty muted colors, as you can tell. Can you see that light one at all? It's like right there. So those are the eyeshadows, and then let's do the blush. B-Day Bay. Also pretty lights. So there's the shade. And there it is compared to the colors in the eyeshadow palette. So the swatches. We all love swatches, right? I am going to put this on. I'm going to start with the blush. Picks up pretty well. I'm just using my e.l.f. blush brush. I try to use the same brushes for most of my stuff so you can get an idea of how they pick up comparatively or apply. And I've used the Tarte Amazonian Clay formula for years. It's usually well regarded, and I think fairly so. It stays on really well. Put on a little, probably a little more than I would if I wasn't filming, just so it shows up a bit better for you. Still not heavy-handed though. So you can see the blush. B-Day Bay. And then the eye colors. So again, there's the swatches. I've done this a few ways. When I put it on, I do have a little mirror. Notice there's no mirror in the little palette. Washed my brushes. Minor miracle. Doesn't happen often. I use my Wayne Goss brushes almost all the time. I'm actually going into this one, this middle shade. I rather like this color. I've discovered after using it a few times. Now this is a shimmer, and I am putting it up in the kind of transition area, which I don't have a problem with. Some people have more of a hard and fast rule about only mattes can go in the crease or in the transition area. Totally fine, whatever works for you. It's a pretty shade. It does apply quite nicely. So that's just one pass with that shade. I really do like that color. It's neutral, leaning warm. It looks like chocolate to me. So I just blended that in easily and quickly, flat brush. And I think we'll do, I'm going to do that same one actually. About outer third of my lids, outer half. And you can see, just using a different brush, see how much more heavily, I guess I would say, that applies. That's why the brushes do matter. You know, if you use, you know, if you're going to put something in the transition area or the crease, especially a shimmer, it's often useful to go with more of a fluffy brush, because you can see the difference. Like if I had put it on that heavily up in here, I might not have preferred that, but I want it a little more heavy on my lid, and you can see the difference just using a flatter brush makes in the exact same shade. I just find that interesting. And then I'm just using the bare side of that, kind of coming in from the inside out, just to kind of blend that edge. This pink is an interesting, it's a little dry. It doesn't have a ton of color. It is shimmery. I'll show you what it looks like here. So you can see it there. It's soft. It's what I would call kind of a soft shimmer. Not a ton of color payoff. Not an obvious pink kind of look. Just kind of a soft, just a soft shimmer. So that's just those two colors. you know, so that's really the only light shimmery shade. Then there's kind of this, which a lot of people probably would use as a transition shade, and I have used as a transition shade, I just didn't today. Then there's this, what many people would consider kind of a brow bone highlight, of course, depending on your skin tone. That may or may not work. It works for me. I'm somewhere in the light to fair to light category, I generally say. So I'm just going to blend up with that very light color. Blend over that edge. It doesn't make a monumental difference. It's really just kind of blending that out, smoothing it out a little. Oh, and these have a scent. These eyeshadows have a scent. I don't know what month it was, we'll say October. I reviewed the Tarte Fall Feels palette, which I still think was a little hidden gem of the fall. I don't think it's available anymore, unfortunately. And I could have sworn those colors were scented, and this has the exact same scent. So it's somewhere between a chocolate and a vanilla. It's very light. I don't know that they're trying to scent it, because they never mention it. So that's what we've got, just blending out that kind of top part. So all I used was those 3 shades. So this was the transition area, and then I also used a flat brush on this, on outer half, we'll say, of the lid. Then I used this kind of inner corner and middle of the lid, and this just to blend out kind of along the brow bone and blend out that line right up there. And I'm not going to put liner on because I want to show you the mascara, and I sometimes think, you know, if you've got liner on, it's difficult to tell what the mascara is actually doing, so I want you to see it as accurately as possible, which is always kind of my goal. And I am going to curl my lashes. I use the Tweezerman Pro Curl, which is, at least according to what they say, is for a more rounded eye shape, which I have. And I must say, it never pinches me, and it does seem to get on my lashes, which I appreciate, because I felt like every lash curler on the earth just really pinched, and maybe it was my eye shape, I don't know. This one works really well for me. And I have some curl to my lashes, but I just use these for a little extra lift. I don't have hard to curl lashes or anything like that. So Tarte's Light Camera Lashes, I used this years ago. I tried it because for a while this was like, you know, everybody talked about this mascara and they were all about it, and I tried it, and it was fine. It didn't do a lot for me. So truthfully, when I ordered this set, as I said, it was $4 less to buy it with the mascara than if I'd ordered the 2 things individually. So I wasn't thrilled that I was getting this mascara, but I've used it several times, and I have reformulated my thoughts about it, so I thought we'd give it a go here. It's nice and black and glossy. Those are my initial impressions of it when I started using it. And, oh, I think I just bumped myself with it. For me, mascara is the most dangerous of all makeup. I don't know, I try to be really careful, but I think there's something about my eye shape or like the depth of my eye or something that makes mascara, when it hits my lashes, it like just wants to go right on my eyelid and mess up my eye look. So there's obviously one coat on this eye. Just want to give you a sense of that, so you can see what it looks like. I'll do the other eye. And then you do the crossover thing, right? How does anyone learn to do that? I don't know, but we all do. Like, no one taught me to do that. No one probably taught you to do that. It's just something you're like, okay, I'm going to put this mirror in this hand, and I'm going to still use my right hand to put on the mascara. And you don't even think about it. I was going to mention my favorite mascara, holy grail mascara, is the the Milk Makeup Kush mascara. I discovered it in 2019, and it is my favorite mascara to date. So there's one coat on each. And I've been using about 2 coats when I've been using this. And I do put it on the lowers as well. Oh, there we go. See? Got myself right there. Happens every day. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't have a Q-tip right here. It's fine. I'm just going to leave it there. In the real world, I would let it dry and then just Q-tip it off. But since we have reached kind of the end of the line here, this is the finished look. So my thoughts on the set. I really like it. Now, I'm going to say I don't think this is going to cover a wide variety of skin tones at all. I happen to be a skin tone that it works nicely for, but you know, I still got my swatches here, and you know, you can see a lot of these colors are, you know, they may not show up on a deeper skin tone, they may not show up like these. I don't even know if this would show up on a fairer skin tone than mine, so I feel like there's a narrow skin tone grouping that this is really going to work for. I happen to fall into that grouping. So it's nice for me, but you know, if you're a lot deeper than me, even if you're fair, I'm not sure. I think fair probably would work. I like the blush color. For me, it's kind of my thing. I don't like super crazy blush, generally speaking, in terms of color. So this is a very like normal looking blush for me. Is it revolutionary? Is it worth the $30? I think it's $30 to buy this individually. I don't think I'd pay $30 for this blush. I think you can get something equally good at a drugstore price, like those e.l.f. the primer infused blushes. Those are excellent. I think those are $6, and I think those would be comparable. I like this. I'm happy with this. I think it's a very nice blush, but I could certainly live without it. I like the eyeshadows. They perform really well. I personally like the colors. They are, you know, like I said, these are kind of in my wheelhouse for colors. So I really like it. But again, I feel like it's really limited in the appeal depending on what your skin tone is. And as to the mascara, I'm kind of bummed because the first couple times I tried it, I was like, you know, I do like the look of this. I understand why this has been so popular, and I'm glad I've tried it again. But I really have to say that I get a ton of flaking by the end of the day. Like last night, I felt like something was in my eye, and I went and looked in the mirror, and I had like little flakes all over. So for me, I like the look of it, but I feel like it's flaky, which is really too bad because it's pretty. And maybe, you know, everybody's so different with mascara. This might very well work for you. I think the limited edition packaging is pretty. If you are going to get these pieces, I would certainly recommend the set because you're going to actually save money by getting the mascara rather than if you don't get it, you'll pay more. Again, I think it's fine, but I think it's unusual. So for me, I very much enjoy this set. I could have done without the mascara, but frankly, it didn't cost me anything. It actually saved me money, so I don't mind that I have it. I'm still going to keep trying it. I do like the look I get. I just don't like the flakes, unfortunately. So that's kind of my take on the Tarte Cue The Confetti set. I hope that was helpful. As always, that's my only purpose here. I'm very appreciative of you hanging out with me and just talking makeup because I absolutely adore this stuff. I hope you are having a good day, and I'll talk to you soon.